guys, Courtney here with Courtney's Customs, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how to put wrapping paper on a tumbler. I'm going to do two different ones in this tutorial. One is going to be a fully wrapped, and the other one I will either do like a half wrap or a V-split. Haven't 100% decided yet, but I'll figure it out. For both tumblers, I'm using a 17-ounce mason jar from Courtney's Customs Blanks. I'll have a link down in the description. These are running low. I think I might have like 20 left, I'm pretty sure. So for the first one, I'm going to spray paint it white because it's not going to be completely covered. So I am going to cover up the part of the tumbler where the lid screws on. I do not want any paint or glitter or especially epoxy to get on this part of the tumbler because that's going to interfere with putting the lid on correctly. I'm going to sand both of them down, but I'm definitely going to pay more attention to one because there's going to be no paint, no glitter, just the wrapping paper on it. So I want to make sure it has a good textured canvas to grip onto. After sanding them, I'm going to take a paper towel with some 91% rubbing alcohol and wipe it down clean because it leaves like a nasty dust, like black dust. When both tumblers are good and clean, I'm going to put my little pool noodle in there. These pool noodles came with my tumbler turner that I got from Bama Cups, as well as this PVC pipe that I'm trying to cram down in there. There we go. So it just randomly started raining really hard. I'm in a metal shed, so I really hope this doesn't interfere with the sound. If it does, I'm really sorry. I'll try to balance out the sound when I edit the video. But this is the wrapping paper that I'm using. This was actually just down in my mom's basement. So I'm assuming it's probably from Walmart, Dollar General. I'm not 100% sure. But I am just going to roll it out and cut out a piece that I know is probably too big, but I just want to be prepared. Okay, so this is clearly way too much, but I mean, it can be cut, so it's fine. I just wanted to make sure I had enough. So I'm pretty much just going to measure out how much I'm going to need here. My working table is not like super big, so sorry. So I'm gonna need roughly that much. And I'm just gonna cut this line as straight as I possibly can. I did do some overhang, so if I need to trim it up and make it look nicer, I can. Set that excess aside, and now I'm going to measure it even more precisely. So at this point, really, I'm just playing with it, and there is a slight curve, very slight right here, but the rest of it is completely straight. So I'm actually going to start right here and fill this in with some glitter after I epoxy the first layer. So I lied when I said there was going to be no glitter on one. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to lie. So now I'm just feeling where the bottom is and making a mark where I need to cut. And I'm going to cut slightly below that line because I am going to be kind of covering up imperfections at the top and the bottom with glitter. And I cannot wait to show you guys this glitter. Oh my goodness. It's something kind of new from the glitter grind, and I'm really excited about it. So what I did off camera, because I did not realize that I didn't hit record, was I put a very thin layer of Mod Podge on the back of my wrapping paper instead of putting it directly on the tumbler. I feel like it would be a little less messy, but I don't know. So now I'm going to stand my tumbler upside down and apply the wrapping paper like so. So I am trying to make sure that I am starting about where that crease ends. But like I said, it's totally fine. I'm going to be covering it up with glitter. So I think about right here. And if you have a good straight tumbler, like this one is once you get past that curve, you should be able to put it on pretty easily. Like almost just kind of roll it on. Just make sure there's no crinkles. And I'm going to add a little bit of Mod Podge right here to keep that held down. I'm also going to add some Mod Podge over, just a very, very thin layer over this, like you would a fabric tumbler. This is pretty much like a fabric tumbler, just a lot more delicate. And it's just the tiniest bit off right there, but like I said, I'm going to be putting some glitter on the top and the bottom to cover up imperfections. Now I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. This Mod Podge is dry, so now I'm going to go through and cut the excess from the bottom here. I'm really afraid that the epoxy is going to get underneath of that and lift it up and cause issues. So since I'm going to put some glitter down here anyway, I am just going to cut more. But I'm going to do it with my X-Acto knife here. I'm trying to keep it as thin as possible, but I just don't want to run into any issues when I epoxy this. I did one of these before. If you dig deep enough, I think on my Instagram, I did one last year. It was like a candy cane looking one. So now this is what I have. I am going to just set it aside. Of course, the next step will be epoxy. But now it's time to move on to my next one here. Alright, so now for my second tumbler here, I'm going to do the same thing and start about where the bottom of this curve ends, because I don't want to, you know, have any wrinkles and it look kind of crappy. So here we go. I'm going to do the same thing. Put a little bit of Mod Podge on the back of the wrapping paper. I feel like that's a lot easier than, you know, just kind of blindly putting the Mod Podge on the tumbler. And now I'm going to start, like I said, and I'm going to make sure to, of course, to trim it up. Just make sure everything is really smooth, no wrinkles. Now when that's on, same thing as the last one. Put a light coat of Mod Podge over the entire thing. And now just let this dry and I'll come back and show you the next step. So now I'm just going to trim this up really good, so there's not all that overhang. Now I'm wanting to make kind of a V-split out of this. I know it's not really going to be a true V-split because there's a gap at the top because of that curve. But I'm going to tape it off as if I would a regular V-split. And now I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and cut along that tape. And it's not perfect, but that's nothing that some vinyl striping can't fix. Now the rest of the tumbler I'm going to cover in this glitter called Sandman from the Glitter Grind. I think it's really super pretty. It's like a off-white, medium chunky mix, I would call it. But I think it goes with this tumbler really well. Alright, so now I'm going to seal this, pop it on my turner back here from Bama Cups, and come back tomorrow and show you the next step with this one and the first one that we did. Okay, so for this one, I just need to sand it down really good and add another coat of epoxy before moving on. And then for this one, I'm actually going to spray paint just the top here. This is going to be covered up with the painter's tape again. But I'm going to put some white spray paint here and cover this and maybe bring it just a hair up so it's covering this. I'm not going to get to show you guys the spray paint process because it's pouring rain. But I will come back after it's spray painted and show y'all what I did. Alright, so you guys can see I just put a little bit of white spray paint on the top and the bottom. So this is the glitter that I was really super excited to show you guys. This is Snowstorm from the Glitter Grind. I don't know if you can really tell. Let me see if I can get my camera to focus. There we go. It's like a really pretty chunky mix, but there are also shapes of snowflakes in there. So I think this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. I've got my paintbrush and my Mod Podge that I just dropped down in there. So now I got Mod Podge all up the top here. Whoops. So I'm just going to put some Mod Podge over that white paint. Try not to make it a complete like straight line. And now just sprinkle on this glitter. So other than sanding and some more epoxy, this one is finished. So I'm going to set this to the side and now we're going to focus on this one. Okay, so now this one is ready for sanding and a decal. So I'm just going to take my little sanding block here and get this really nice and smooth. Now I'm going to take some painter's tape and finish off some more of this V-split. I don't want to tape this off here and do the whole rest of the tumbler a different color. I just want to have like part of the V here a different color, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to line these up as perfect as I can on both sides to make it even. Alright, so now I'm going to put Mod Podge over all of this through here and use this glitter called Seaweed from the Glitter Grind. I think it's a really pretty Christmas green. So here we go. Alright, so after some epoxy, this is good and smooth and ready for the vinyl stripes. I'm going to be using the same like mirrored silver vinyl that I used in my, I think it was the Snowflake Peekaboo tutorial. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description for this. It's just from Amazon. There's a little spot right here. I don't know if the camera can pick it up very good. Didn't notice that. Gonna have to fix it, but it's okay. So just ignore that. Okay, so I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to do with this space up here, so I just have this, it looks very tiny, but I think it's going to fit on there pretty good. It's just red, it says Merry Christmas. Turn it into a water slide decal, and I'm going to put it on this spot right here to see if I can just have something there other than just a blank spot, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, so now I'm going to add some epoxy to this and then come back tomorrow and show you guys both of the tumblers with the lids on side by side. Yay, these two are done. Let me know what you guys think. I love them. I think it's so cool just to put something different like wrapping paper on a tumbler, especially during Christmas time. And the fact that there's just so many different ways that you could do this, I really love it. Before I go, like always, I do have y'all's cup of positivity for the day, and today's quote is, Tough times don't last, tough people do. That has an unknown author. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And like always, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Be kind, love one another, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!